Good morning, friends. Dear friends, today we are going to start with a new bit of your paper, that is paper number 6, Fish Diseases Management. And today we are going to see another one fish disease, that is known as ichthyophtheresis. Dear friends, in an earlier video we have seen the number of fish diseases, and this is about the ichthyophtheresis, that is also known as white spot disease. This ichthyophtheresis is commonly known as white spot disease. When we say about the causing organism of this ichthyophtheresis is a one type of very simple protozoon, that is known as Ichthyopterus multifilius. Ichthyopterus is a genus and multifilius is a species. So the disease which is caused by the microorganism that is known as Ichthyopterus multifilius, that disease is known as ichthyoptheresis. This ichthyoptheresis disease is generally found, very commonly found into the freshwater fishes in the fish ponds as well as the aquarium. When we see the mode of transmission, this fish disease ichthyoptheresis is transmitted no doubt through the water. Water is a very important medium for the spreading distribution of this ichthyoptheresis disease. This ichthyoptheresis disease, which is called as white spot disease, is also known as the itch disease. As we know that when we see the symptoms, the fish will feels the itching over the body surface, therefore the name is given itch disease. In the same way, in this itch disease, that symptoms shows a white spots on the body surface, on the gills, on the skin, therefore it is also known as white spot disease. So ichthyoptheresis, white spot disease and itch disease, these are the synonyms for this type of disease. When we say about the organism, what is the organism? Organism is Ichthyopterus multifilius. It is a very simple type of protozoon found into the freshwater body. Here, this Ichthyopterus multifilius, it is generally rounded to, you may call as rounded in shape, and this organism is having a body which is covered with a large number of the cilia. So body is covered with the cilia. That cilia are arranged in a rows. A microscopic cilia are there, and body is filled with the cytoplasm. As we know that in case of the protozoon, the external body surface is known as the pellicle. So the pellicle is there. On that pellicle, large number of serially arranged in a rows, cilia are there. That cilia are nothing but a locomotory organ in this organism. So this ciliate organism, protozoan organism, or you may call as the Ichthyopterus multifilius, is generally affects the skin, gills, or overall body surface of the infected fish. This will grow, that parasite will grow in a size near about 0.5 to 1.5 mm in diameter. As we know that body is filled with the cytoplasm, that endoplasm, That endoplasm is having two types. The outer, that is known as the ectoplasm, and the inner is known as the endoplasm. In most of the you may call as a protozoon, such type of patterns occurs, and this endoplasm, which is containing a number of cell organelles, as we know that it is having the having the two nucleus. One is a large nucleus, another one is a smaller nucleus. The large nucleus is known as the macronucleus, MACRO. Large nucleus is a macronucleus, and which is horseshoe shaped, and beneath or near close to this horseshoe shaped macronucleus, there is a smaller rounded nucleus is there. That smaller rounded nucleus, that is known as the micronucleus. So there is a presence of macronucleus and micronucleus, which are carrying the hereditary material. This endoplasm is containing the mitochondria, Golgi bodies, and lysosomes also. This structure of the protozoon have a cytosome or the cell mouth used for the ejection of fluids or solid particles. Similarly, it has the food vacuoles, contractile vacuoles. So these are a general type of the description of that the ciliate organism, that is Ichthyophtheris multifilus. Rounded in shape, ovate in shape, body covered with a large number of cilia. The cilia are arranged in a rows. It is having endoplasm, ectoplasm is there, endoplasm is there, and endoplasm is containing a different type of cell organelles, that is like the mitochondria, Golgi complex, as well as the lysosomes, and so on. When we see about the symptom of that disease, that symptoms are very well visible. You can also observe very well by naked eye into the aquarium also and into the fish pond. As we know that earlier stated that it is transmitted through the direct and indirect contact with the infected fishes. Water is acting as a vehicle for spreading of this disease, and we know that it is characterized by the presence of white spots over the skin, gills, and fins, and so on. This white spot disease is characterized similarly like the particles of the salts. See here, when we just spread the particles of the salts on the fish, it will give such like the appearance. So this, and important another one symptom is that fish feels the irritation and it will rub its body to the nearby substratum. It may be the rocks, pond, it may be the rocks as well as the plants or any type of substratum. So when is as well as frequently fishes are going to the surface of the aquarium, or when they are pond, they just goes towards the inlet of the water. That means this phenomena frequently coming to the surface for engulfing the ear, because ear gills are affected, therefore there is a problem in respiration, and to come over the problem of respiration, fish will try to get to the surface and engulf the open ear. So when fishes are frequently coming to the surface, fishes are rubbing their body to the substratum. It may be the rocks, it may be the plants, it may be the wall of the aquarium, and fishes are having white spots all over its body surface, including the gills also. That is nothing but the confirmation of the Ichthyophtheris multifilus infection, and that disease is simply known as ichthyopteresis. Dear friends, when parasites, that is protozoan parasites, is heavily attacking on the gills, at that time the color of the, now normally gills are having the red color, but when there is a heavy infection, advanced type of infection is there, at that time that gills will turn pale yellow in color. So this is about the little bit of the symptom of the disease Ichthyophthirius multipalis. Dear friends, when you see the life cycle of that parasite, no doubt the entire life is into the aquatic condition, into the water, and fishes are the host. Fish is the host and water is the medium. Generally, in this case, in case of this Ichthyophthirius, this parasite will complete their life cycle, including 3 important stages. Very little life cycle is there, and that life cycle may complete within the 2 to 1 week, that is from 2 days up to the 5 to 6 days. Within a very small span, it will be having its life cycle. So it passes through the different developmental stages. What are that? That adult type of parasite, it is also known as trophozoite. Adult parasite which is present on the skin, that is also known as a trophozoite, as well as the trophont also. So trophont is a mature, well-developed type of parasite. This trophont, which is found into the epidermal layer of the skin of the fishes as well as the gills, where that trophont is also recognized as it is a feeding stage. It will feed. See here, adult is known as the trophozoite. It is also known as the trophont. It is present. It is located within the scales and cell, within the skin, within the epidermal cells and tissue of the host animal, host fish, and it will feeds upon that muscles as well as the cells, tissue of that particular fish. So it is a feeding stage. Trophozoite, trophont, it is a feeding stage. Then this trophozoite will passes during the due course into the next stage, that is known as a tomont. Tomont is a reproductive stage where reproduction is get possible into the tomont stage. So this trophozoite or trophont will passes into the next stage, that is known as the tomont, and this tomont will get encysted. Tomont is the free stage. Tomont is a free stage into the one envelope, a thin wall envelope is there, that is known as the cyst. So this it is a reproductive type of the stage. Later on, this tomont will grows and it will form a next stage, that is known as the tomies. So these tomies or these cyst and cyst, it is a tomont and cyst, and this tomont will just grow into the tomies. Tomies are nothing but the daughter parasites, daughter cell. That means from tomont will get the encysted, where the development of the division of these parasite will take place by the fission method, 1 to 2, 4 and so on. So the division, the mitotic division of that cells will take place, and therefore finally daughter cells, a large number of daughter cells from number 10 up to the 100 numbers of the daughter cells will form in a single type of encyst, that is tomocyst. So that tomocyst, it is having you may call it as a division stage, and in that division a large number of daughter cells, that is known as the tomies, are released. When it break up the wall of that you may call it as the cyst. Cyst wall is get break up, and here all the daughter cells, tomies, are get free into the water, and they move, and they will find the they move and grow, and they will find a new type of the host, and that is again called as a trophont. So this is a little bit of the life cycle of this parasite that is known as the Ichthyophthirius multipalis. I repeat again, it is having very little life cycle that starts from the profound, then tomont, and then tomont and cyst, then daughter cell that is known as a tomies, and large number of tomies will get outside by rupturing the wall of the cyst and get free into the water and searching for the new host. So it is generally very little life cycle of that parasite is there, and when we see there is a higher growth of that parasites into the hot weather, into the higher temperature, and these certain trophons may have size near about the 100 to 1000 micrometers. So this life cycle is highly dependent upon water temperature and completed within 2 to 7 days at 25 degrees centigrade. It may be up 26 degrees centigrade, and a free swimming phase is you may call as the unprotected. Therefore, it is highly susceptible for the chemicals, and you can kill, you can control the such type of infection within that stage only, because when these are the trophon are placed into the epidermal tissue, epidermal cells of the fish, therefore it is not controllable, and when it gets off from the host animal and settle to the bottom of the aquarium or pond, at that time we are able to control by various methods, and it completes its life cycle within 3 to 5 weeks depend upon the water temperature. You have seen that this life cycle like the trophon feeding stage, which converts into tromont, that is reproductive stage. See that slide, and tomocyst, that is the division stage, and later on it forms the tomies, the daughter cells, and again it converts into the adult type of trophozoite or the trophont. When we see about the you may call as the control methods, control measures, generally it has three systems. By three ways we can control here. One is by proper management of the pond, another one is by physical control, and another one is of the chemical control. So this management, it is one of the important way to control and maintain the fish stock. So this is one method by which we can control the such type of disease. What we will do into the management, one method that is known as the proper management. Here these in that method, just you have to decrease the stocking rate. Simply, when your overcrowding is there, ultimately there will be the too much complication, and there is greater chances of spreading of the any type of diseases. Therefore, you have to decrease, you have to maintain exact type of the stocking density of the fish, and watch that stocking density and decrease the stock. It is a one simple way. It is a precaution. Later on, increase the water flow of the pond to remove all such type of the fish diseases. It is a part of management. Dead fish should be removed time to time. As early as we spot that dead fish, we have to remove as early as possible. And generally just watch over when we are importing such type of the fishes from other source, other places. At that time it should be have a proper treatment. It may be the new infected, it may be the new species, new fish, as well as the plants, stones, whatever it may be. When you are putting into the aquarium, it should be have taken care. It should be the quarantine, and the fishes before releasing into the pond, before releasing into the you may call as the aquarium, you should have to quarantine this type of things. It may be the plant, it may be the toys, it may be the any type of substratum, grasses, or the any type of the fishes which are going to introduce into the pond as well as aquarium. And this whatever the wild fish, it should be the prevented from entry through the water inlet. So inlet should be regulated, and it should be the monitor to prevent the entry of other type of fishes as well as the snails, the animals, and so on. And when you found that such type the infection is going on in your pond, at that time you should have to drain the pond as well as the drying. So the draining and drying is also the one part of the you may call as a control method to avoid such type of the diseases. So whatever the infection is there, it may form the outbreak. Therefore, for that outbreak, you have to just simply drain the water as well as dry the pond. In case of aquarium, you drain the aquarium and clean and dry them and have the bath of potassium permanganate with all the instruments. Dear friend, the second method of control is physical control. In this physical control, what we have to do, we have to break up the cycle of that infection. During the quarantine condition, what happens? Here we are breaking the cycle of infection. Therefore, we have to also apply such a theme to just break up the cycle of the infection. So how we will just break up the cycle of infection? What includes the physical control? The physical control is possible by flushing method. Secondly, transferring the method, and third one is the heat method. What happening into the flushing method? Just you have to flush the water. You have to take the container, a porous container from all the sides, keep the infected fishes, and just allow the water supply many days. It may be to the week continuously from that pores of that container. So whatever the type of parasites are there, not only the Ichthyophthirus multifilis, so whatever associated parasites are there, that may be the run off through that container, because container is porous and we are putting a continuously fresh water. So along with that fresh water, from that pores, that container should have the pores from all the sides, wall as well as the bottom also. So whatever the parasites are there, that parasites get run away, flow away with that flush of the water. It is simply the flushing method. The second one is the transferring method. It is used for the ornamental fishes, as the infected ones are transferred to the to have to parasite free aquarium every day for 12 hours. It is a transfer method. That means we have to transfer the fishes into the good type of the aquarium or ponds, and later on we can also introduce into the next culture. Third method is the heat method. So one statement is that here it have the higher growth, higher infection into the higher temperature, but we can also use that temperature as a control method. We have to increase the temperature of that particular pond, that particular aquarium by little bit per day, near about up to the 30 to 32 degrees centigrade. But to increase the temperature, of course, you don't have to increase the sudden temperature. Temperature is not rise suddenly. It should have rise very slowly to 1 by 1 degree centigrade, and this will kill all the type of parasites. And this treatment we have to pass up to the 5 to 7 days continuously by temperature. That means heat method. In this heat method, we have to increase the temperature of that pond water, increasing the temperature of that aquarium very slowly up to the how much? Up to the 30 to 32 degrees centigrade. And keep in mind that when you are going to use such type of heat method, at that time you have to monitor the temperature very carefully. Next and last one is the chemical method. So it is the most effective. No doubt, chemicals have different drawbacks also, and we know that without chemical using, we are not going to do number of things. So the chemical, we cannot avoid the chemicals, but we have to just use the chemical under super guidance. So we should have particular quantity, particular dose, particular time of application of that dose. So in this chemical method, the free swimming phase is the best. As earlier stated that a free swimming stage is the best stage to control, and it is simply by the sodium chloride, that is known as a common salt. A bath of common salt is important, and 1.5 to 2.5 you may call as the concentration of that solution, sodium chloride solution is required, and you have to do the bath up to the 30 minutes per day, and it is up to the 7 days. The bath of that sodium chloride common salt is given to the infected fishes up to the 7 days, that is near about 30 minutes per day. When we give a 30-minute per day bath of the sodium chloride, and it is to continue to the next 7 days. Similarly, a very common treatment is that the bath of the potassium permanganate. So this potassium permanganate as well as the sodium chloride, it is a very simple method to control the such type of the diseases. Here you can use 50 ppm concentration of that potassium permanganate, and this potassium permanganate will helpful for control of this disease. So bath of potassium permanganate, bath of sodium chloride is found useful. Similarly, the formalin in the concentration of 15 to 25 ppm is also useful for controlling such type of the infection. Melachite green, with the melachite green, it is another one chemical used for control. It should be have near about 0.1 ppm, and it is to be used for 3 to 4 days by interval, and spraying distributing into the entire pond area. So the application of melachite green is to the entire pond. Besides that, certain melachite green as well as the combination of the formalin as shown in the slide at the rate of 15 ppm can be also used for control of that parasites. Similarly, the acriflavin is also used to control, that is at the rate of 10 ppm per liter for 3 to 20 days. So you have to use a number of chemicals, and both such type of the chemicals. Similarly, the acetic acid is also used for the control of that disease. So there are several chemicals. What are these? These are, first of all, the common salt, sodium chloride, as well as potassium permanganate, as well as the formalin, melachite green, and this acriflavin. So these are the various type of the formalin also used. These are various type of the chemicals to use control that infection. So this is the figure of life cycle. We have been seen that it is adult fish. That adult fish is having the spot over the body, white color spot over the body, and that white color spot are nothing but here it is the infection of this Ichthyophthis multifilus, and it is also known as, just already said that it is also known as the trophozoite, it is also known as the trophont. So this trophont will just grow and get infect within the tissue and cells of the fishes. It will feeds upon the tissue and cells of that host animal, host fishes, and development will take place. It forms the cyst, and cyst is having the mitotic division, and these mitotic divisions are nothing but the daughter cells, and when that daughter cells rupture the cyst wall, it will become free, and again it will become free and grow, and it is form another adult type of the trophont or trophozoite. So it is little bit of the you may call as life cycle of this Ichthyophthis multifilus. Thank you, dear friends. Thank you very much.